first #1 record at the age of 37. It had been a long, hard struggle by this artist-poet to be accepted, with his peculiar brand of English music hall set to jazz and rock.
There was a lot of warmth and a lot of love, but there was a lot of fuck you as well. He's a cripple. He can't be a rock star. Yes, I fucking can.
Black shirt, white socks, black shoes, black hair, white stripes, white black swing, dream inside. Let the blue caps roll tonight. And the sun.
Ian Dury was a Gene Vincent fan who overcame his disabilities caused by childhood polio to become the nation's favourite pop jokester.
The one with the flying feet, where you can break the peace, steady chivalries. The beat is we can't be, and the jump like honey in the dungarees. To sweater and a ponytail, will you get so?
An artist who decided he wanted to be a rock star, he ended up topping the charts around the world by setting his East London life to rock and roll. But it wasn't easy. His overnight success was the result of many years' adventures with his original band, Kilburn and the High Roads.
I don't impress myself as a singer. I'm not worried about it because I'm quite a good actor, and I can get through by letting the feeling of the words that I write come out, and it's me that wrote them, so I can relate to it in that way.
Born in the middle of the war, 1942, in Harrow, Ian and his mother evacuated to Ireland where her parents lived, leaving his bus driver father to fend for himself during wartime London.
Our Father, who art in Hendon, Harrow Road be thy name. Thy Kingston come, thy Wimbledon, in Erith as it is in Hendon.
When Ian returned after the war, his parents' marriage was over and he was brought up by his mum and her sister in the London suburbs of Upminster. It was an idyllic childhood in the countryside east of London.
Panic struck hard when the shadow of polio darkened the promise of Britain's holiday months. Summer month notifications of the dread disease reached 3 times the normal average.
Ian was one of the unlucky ones. It all went pear-shaped in the hot summer of 1949, when on a visit to Southend he caught polio from contaminated water in the swimming pool. It was the disease that everyone at the time dreaded. At worst it killed you, or left you immobile in an iron lung, or caused your body to be twisted out of shape and useless.
I just got up one day and had like a flu, and I laid down on a couch, and the next thing I remember was being in an ambulance. And then I remember being in a kind of hazy, nightmare, fevery world for about 6 weeks. My mum told me, I'd come and have a last look through the window, because I didn't think I was going to make it. And I turned the bedside light on by my bed, there's a little white face on the pillow. But I was still there in the morning, because I'm a goer. I remember being in plaster for ages, 6 months. And then after that, I went to Chailey Heritage Craft School till I was about 12. So 5 years I was institutionalised.
The Queen and the 2 princesses visited the Heritage Craft School. There are some 350 children at Chailey, where they're prepared for the day they will earn their own living and taught to fend for themselves in spite of their physical disabilities.
Well, my left leg don't really work. My left arm don't work as well as it should. And I wear a caliper on my left leg. And I suppose I'm fairly disabled.
Withered arm and gammy leg, at 12 he was sent to the Royal Grammar School in High Wycombe.
I suppose my visual awareness and my idea of what kind of life, a style you could acquire, was always much more interesting to me than any kind of academic qualification. I was very good at English at school.
His heroes were rock and rollers, and already a bit of a Ted, he would bunk off school to watch Wee Willie Harris and others at the Two Eyes. Good at drawing as well as English, he studied art at Walthamstow and later at the Royal College of Art, where he met pop artist Peter Blake, who was to become his mentor and lifelong friend.
He just said to me, "Do you like rock and roll?" I went, "Yeah, I love it, yeah." He said, "Do you like boxing and wrestling?" "Yeah, do it." Pin-up? I went, yeah. He said, well, why aren't you painting pictures like that? I went, oh, good question. Although that wasn't linked up, the painting with the music, there was the same vibe coming from it in a way. It's sort of a similar new excitement. I saw the swinging 60s from underneath Robert Fraser's table. You know, one with Christine Kaufman, Tony Curtis.
Yeah. And always Brian Jones.
Always Brian Jones and
2 or 3
Charlie Watts was always
John
there.
Lennon as well. Yeah.
Rocky. William Burroughs.
Yeah.
He used to be there, didn't he?
Ray the Raver.
Yeah.
Out cold on the floor.
Yeah. That part of life appealed to me. The bohemian artist with long hair and extremely ornate clothing of a disreputable looking nature.
He may have enjoyed the 60s as a drunken bohemian artist, but music remained an important part of his makeup, even when working as an illustrator or teaching painting to art students at Canterbury. He decided to form a rock and roll group. Russell Hardy, his piano-playing flatmate, was asked to join.
He just said, I'm going to start this rock and roll band, you know, how would you like to become a millionaire? so I thought, well, that sounds pretty good to me, you know.
Later, art student Humphrey Ocean took up the bass and followed as a disciple.
He said, you know, would you like to be in it? You know, we just got to look good. I wasn't on my guitar playing skills or anything, but I did know an A and a D and an E, that sort of thing. He's ahead of us all. When he courted music, he played drums, you know, and he'd sing something, and he'd be sitting at a table, you know, the refectory table or whatever it was, you know, and he'd be just banging out, you know, and good. He could do something really, you know, trills, runs down past the baked beans. You know.
But what I did very sensibly, I went to the social secretary of the art school. I said, what are you doing at Christmas? And he said, oh, I'm going to dance, get a few bands in. I said, well, put me in. And he went, well, of course, Ian, you give me a good assessment, I'll put you in the gig, all right? I said, yeah. And that was a reason to rehearse.
Things like Johnny Be Good and 20 Tiny Fingers.
I used to work in a factory when I was sort of 15, and that's all they had on all day. It was all like the what you call the top of the pops now, but it was all that sort of stuff. Al McCogan. I mean, Ian came from this sort of similar era.
I think we also did I Made Mary Cry in a Lonely Bus Shelter, which was one of Ian's first penned lyrics.
I made Mary cry in a lonely bus shelter.
It wasn't, you know, a traditional love song.
I put in my little thingamajig in the back of her leg, severed a hamstring